Okay. Daddy is the sweetest daddy in the world. Daddy is the most handsome. The smartest. The most clever. The kindest. He is my Superman. Daddy wants me to do well at school. Daddy is just great, but he lies. He lies about having a job. He lies about having money. He lies that he's not tired. He lies that he's not hungry. He lies that we have everything. He lies about his happiness. He lies because of me.
We're supposed to, in this country, treat mothers and fathers the same with regard to custody. No one has a less equal position. However, when I practiced in the family court and then was later a judge in the family court, I found that that law was honored in the breach. Most judges and most psychologists that served the court always thought that the mother was better. And I didn't always find that that was true.
You have a child with him?
Yes.
That's not your child. That's both of your child. No, look, just a second. That child is both of yours. So either you take the child or he takes the child. He's the father no less than you're the mother. So
You take this up with the family court judge. Your case is dismissed. We understand each other? Take it up with the family court judge. When the family court judge issues an order of support, whoever the order of support is going to be entered against. But I'm going to suggest this to the two of you. You've wisely or unwisely made a child together. You don't have the right to take the child away from the other parent. He would not have that right to take the child away from you. That's what the court said.
I think the more I do this divorce documentary, I think that women are evil when it comes to divorce.
Oh, no, wholeheartedly, yeah.
I interviewed this guy. Oh my God, it was so sad. He literally showed me texts, like messages printed, because I make them bring in the document, because then people will say they're lying or whatever, so I make them bring in the actual like documents. She literally said to her friend, "I wish he would hit me," because she was trying to get him to hit her so she could take the kids and like bring that to court.
Wow.
Even though
that is crazy.
She admitted to hitting him multiple times, and then she didn't let him see the kid for a year. And then she went to court, and guess who still got primary custody?
The lady.
Girl, of struggles.
Isn't that crazy?
Came back home, turns out she cheated on me and also got pregnant with that guy's child.
Do you think there's anything that you could have recognized earlier on?
Definitely. I think it was because I think I noticed some red flags and stuff like that. Like personality just hit a whole 180, but I think I didn't want to like believe it, so I was trying to drown myself in work. Yeah, 2020 was not my best year. So.
See, this video was amazing, where he pretty much told the story of how his girlfriend just broke his heart, his ex broke his heart, and at the end she just said next to him. She wasn't interested, right? It just shows you that women don't care about a man's feelings, especially if it's trying to find a mate, the dating process, right? I mean, maybe she'll care about you a bit if you were dating for a long time, or, you know, if you're husband and wife. Yeah, we hope that. But in general, women don't put up with men's feelings. They don't, right? They find it annoying, right? They find it bothersome to listen to a man, you know, pour his heart out. They do. I mean, like, how many times do we have to go through it where, you know what, women put down men's feelings, where they say that they're not masculine, they're not a man for sharing their feelings, okay? How many times do we have to show that to other people for them to understand that is a fact, that general populace, general women don't care about your feelings, right? Of course, there's outliers, but we're talking about in general, right? If, let's say, even at most, let's say 60% of women don't care, well, that's a lot more than 40, right? So you're going to deal with that. I believe most women don't care. This is how it is. We should try to promote where, you know what, you go to your men friends, and hopefully you have good, reliable men friends, right? You go to where you share their feelings of that. Because women in general don't care about your feelings. And it's shown in and out every day. Any man that shares his feelings online, they don't care, right? And then it's even more that, you know what, they care even less because, you know, you're trying to date them. You're trying to, you know, go on dates with them. They won't care about your feelings like that, right? I mean, they may care about if you're sweet, you know, things, the nice stuff, right? But the trials and tribulations of man, the struggles of men, they don't care. That let me be clear. They don't care about your struggles. That is for certain. They don't, right? Women don't care the struggles you go through. Period.
What is your darkest secret, which you have never told anyone about? My mom and dad divorced when I was 4, and my mom verbally abused my dad on the regular. He always took it, never said a bad word about her, ever. He was a big guy, strong, immovable and quiet. He would just hug myself and my brother and the world would put itself to rights. That kind of dad. We would see him at the weekends early on. This would change as my mom became more vindictive, but for the first few years this was the status quo. I remember playing Doom with him, just sitting in his lap thinking this was the coolest thing ever. Then we would go to Blockbuster, get a movie and a takeaway and chill on the sofa. Myself and my brother always ended up sitting on the floor by my dad's feet just to be a little closer to the action. Anyway, it was a usual weekend, bike ride, TV and some wrestling on the sofa. My dad had already rented the movie, so we didn't know what it was. Turned out it was Mrs. Doubtfire. Okay, so we made it through most of the film without incident. Then it came to the scene in the courtroom where Robin Williams begs for his kids, literally begs just to be in their life, watch them grow, be their father. My dad gets up and goes to the toilet, I assume. For a few minutes I didn't notice. There were sounds coming from the kitchen, inconsistent breaths and pacing. I walked into the kitchen to my dad gripping both sides of the fridge, his forehead touching the cold metal, and he was just shuddering a full body shudder while tears fell freely. I didn't know what to do. I started to cry as well. I was only 8 and I didn't understand. I couldn't understand and it scared me. I just whispered, "Dad?" His head whipped around and I thought for sure he was angry, but he just dropped to his knees and held me. He called for my brother and squished us together. He was still shaking. It was so powerful. He held onto us like we were the only things rooted to the ground, like he was scared we would disappear. After a minute he got up and held onto the fridge again. He opened it, pulled out some ice cream, smiled and said, "Come on," as he walked to the sofa. That is one of only 2 times I ever saw my dad cry. It was the day I realized he wasn't made of stone and metal. He wouldn't fly, and he couldn't save the world. He was just a man who loved his kids and couldn't bear to see them go.
This is the issue where society don't understand men's struggles, right? A lot of people ignore the struggles of men. They don't even think men, they always have these perceptions, you know, patriarchy, toxic masculinity, all this stuff, but they don't really get it. They don't really understand the average man, where we suffering, you know, we also have our feelings, we have the weight of the world on us, you know, we have a lot of expectations on us. The world puts it on us, right? Women put it on us. And at the end of the day, it is this story, right? With this Reddit story is it's powerful, it's strong, because here's a man always trying to put on a strong face, but he's been hurt, and he's scared that his kids could have been taken away from him, or, you know, that he wouldn't have much time with his kids. And I understand that. And a lot of people don't realize it. They only think about the mother, and practically most situations it's always the mother. No one thinks about the father. What they think about the father is only deadbeat. That's it. That's the image society portrays men, fathers. But they ignore and they don't portray the fathers that are suffering, the fathers that are trying so hard, but are either getting nowhere or just getting screwed. They don't portray the hardship of men because they don't care. Men are just not worth caring about, because men are just like sacrificial lambs to society. It's always women are more important than men. And that's why this story to me is very powerful, and a good reminder that we ignore the suffering of men, because most people don't care. It's just how it is.